You know what I've seen when I have done, because I do mediumship work, you do too. We do all this stuff. Once you get in it and get to a certain level, you just do it all automatically.
Right.
But what I've seen in working with clients, with people who've crossed over who didn't believe in God, is that once they cross over, Jesus is like always there somewhere in the midst, and they are given an opportunity in his face to see that he is real, and to see that he's like going to take your hand, wrap his arm around your shoulders, say, come on, let's go. That it's not just what you do here, that the soul is able to make that choice when they see him face to face.
Right.
And or however that works. And so that's one of the things that I really want people to know too, because my dad didn't believe in God. And he would kind of like roll his eyes and my dad loved me so much, but when I would kind of talk about some of this stuff, and like if we would be in mixed company and someone would say, oh, Michele, what do you do for a living? He'd be like, his whole body. And my other job is I'm an accountant. And so that was an acceptable. Are you kidding me?
I was a bookkeeper for 40 years.
Of course.
I never got to accountant, my CPA. Get out of here.
I love you.
Shut the F up. I love you too.
That's awesome.
So funny.
That's awesome. But for me, that was that acceptable answer. Yeah. And my father passed this past December. And, it was funny because I remember when his wife had called me and said that he had, crossed over. And I remember just sitting back and just tapping into the whole thing. I'm like, you saw him, didn't you? And I just felt this, everything is okay.
Nice, beautiful.
Everything is okay. So it was so cool. And it's just like, beautiful. Salvation is beyond just here. Let's just definitely put it that way. That's a word that people use. But another thing, and on that, I kind of want to touch on this. And it's interesting. We're tap dancing around religion a little bit.
Wait, before you do that, can I share my?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, and then I want to get back to that because I don't want to.
Who's running this anyway?
I know, right? I think we know, but it's not me or you. I'm going to share my experience when my dad passed real quick because it was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Okay, and then we'll get back to what you were saying. So don't lose that thought. So my sister and I were driving to his memorial service, and he used to hang out at his local pub in Oregon. He had a key. He was there so much, right? He had his own bar stool kind of thing.
I love it.
Like Norm. And he gives me this clear vision in my mind's eye of him sitting on his bar stool at his pub, and he's smiling at me, and he looks amazing, and he's wearing a dunce cap. It says dunce, those caps that say dunce on them.
That's awesome.
I cracked up. That was really funny. And now he's my biggest fan on the other side.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love it. What was I going to say? What was I going to say?
I knew that was going to happen. I'm sorry.
Oh, around religion. Mm-hmm. One of the things that's kind of interesting is I hesitated in saying, not necessarily knowing, but saying, that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, right? Because I wasn't in a Christian religion, and I don't see him as a Christian person. But it pained me not to say that, but it was so cool. On Facebook, I had some old school chums start connecting up with me. And I had one of the gentlemen, I'm not going to name him here, but he knows who he is, I hope. He came to me, and he is very much a staunch Christian. And he asked me, he said, do you know Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior? And I said, yes, but not in the way the Christian religion says so. But I do. And it was the first time I actually said that. And he has embraced me. He is like, he like looks at the stuff I do, and I know he doesn't comment on it, but every once in a while he's like, yeah, when I do something a little off the edge there. And it was so beautiful to have a man of such faith in a religion to be so truly connected to Christ that he's able to accept the out of the box thinking,
Nice.
right?
Mhm.
That is what that Christian religion is for. I mean, I'm going to say that way, that we're, Christians, and I'm going to call myself a Christian, a Christ. I mean, that's what he teaches. That's what he teaches. Love everybody. And this man is an example of that. And it's so beautiful. And he helped me to open up to be a psychic Christian, right? To be that. And it's not about the Christian religion. It's about a lover and follower of Christ.
Yes.
And it's like that word, I don't know if we need a new word or if we need to allow that word Christian to really open and unfold as Christ really is, because it's so important. You can be psychic and you can be a Christian.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. That reminds me of when Yeshua told me that there will be a time when I will renounce him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He also told me there will be a time where I will be persecuted as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those things both happen or kind of happening now, but yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. Right. Yeah. And when it happened, when I did, and I now I don't even remember the exact experience, but I know when it happened that I thought it brought me back to when he said that. Because I thought, no, I'm not, no, I will not. No, I won't. I will never renounce you. And the memory is gone. He obviously took it out of my awareness, which is good, but it did happen.
Yeah. And sometimes even staying quiet about it is a renunciation, right? When it's like, do you believe in Jesus? Oh, yeah. Is he your Lord and Savior? Well, like in here, I know, but who can you say it? Who do you say it to? Right.
Right.
Do you say it the right way? And that's a little bit of that as well.
Yeah.
But we're moving out of that. But the persecution, yeah, I know that I had information from him and him telling me you will be persecuted. And I have, and I think it's part of the Christ walk. I think it's part of the Christ consciousness and the awakening of that for certain people. It doesn't necessarily mean everybody, but I think a lot of us that are walking that are going through the persecution and have done that. And I feel like I've been walking through persecution kind of my whole life in different ways, but definitely the last probably 10 years. Because it's like these weird attacks and hatred from people that it's like, I don't even know you, but they just hate. And it's like, and you kind of get an idea of what he went through.
Right.
Because he was hated by people that didn't even know him or even know much about him. And a lot of it is that vibration that you carry. You get into someone's field and they're like,
right. All that stuff comes up in them.
Yeah.
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 And so he's the recipient of it, or whoever is carrying that light is a recipient of it.
I remember one time when I was just awakening and really connecting up with all this stuff. And I was at a crystal fair, this where I spent a lot of my time and a lot of my money.
I can relate to that.
I love metaphysics. I'm holding 2 scolioites right now.
Oh, wow.
And I remember just walking up behind a woman. She was looking at something, and I was kind of looking. I was looking behind her, and all of a sudden she turned and just with this thing, and I was like, and she hissed at me. Whoa. And I was just like, and I backpedaled and I crashed into somebody, and he dropped all of his stuff. And my actually Reiki master teacher was there with me at the time, and I went, "What was that?" And she goes, "You disturbed her demons."
Oh, wow. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't want to do that again. Scared the crap out of me.
Our inner demons. Oh man. So that takes me back. That makes me think about when Yeshua spent the 40 days and 40 nights in the desert and working on his demons.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was human,
Mm-hmm.
right? He had his stuff to go through too.
Mm-hmm. He's the one who taught me about past life soul retrieval.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In my meditations, he helped me clear so many lifetimes. He taught me about it. And he taught me what I teach now, the method I teach now.
So good. It's really important. That's one of the things you helped me with, is I had parts of me stuck back in some really horrific times. And it just, it's like, I can breathe again. It's so important to pull our essence out of that, because we've all walked through some stuff. I've met people that are like, oh, I've been loving light the whole time. I'm like, no, you have not.
No.
But we need to pull our essence and bring us all together in one place again. So
definitely.
yeah,
He was
powerful.
showing me, it is very powerful. He showed me some really horrendous lifetimes, or helped me through them. He didn't show me, he helped me through them. I was the one who was with his help, bringing them up through my records. And I'm like, after, we'd bang them out in our meditations, 3, 4 at a time, and I'm like, gosh, don't I have any good lifetimes that we can look at? Why are they all so horrible? And he said, yes, but they're not the ones that need to be cleared and integrated.
Exactly.
So then he showed me one where I was happy.
I asked the same thing too. It's like,
do you? Yeah.
I remember crying. It's like, oh my God, I've been a horrible person my whole life. It's like, no.
No.
Here, we'll show you a couple other ones. Blink, blink.
Yeah, it's like throwing you a bone kind of thing. Yeah. He also, I was gonna say something real quick, but it went choo. Oh, I just remember the renouncing thing. Renouncing, and I didn't, renouncing him as my guide, that kind of thing. That type of thing. Yeah. He helped me remember that, I guess. I don't know, or I just remembered it and pulled it out of my files as we were talking about that. Yeah, because in this work, and I'm becoming more courageous with claiming that part of who we are, right, in our work, and that he does, he is my main dude, that kind of thing, and my guide is, so
I did that too. And I went through a time period where I was a little bit afraid of guides, because I had a teacher who's telling me, oh, well, the dark side can come through as fakers and you never know, and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, are you a faker? Because I know the real Jesus would never come to me. Right. So you must be a faker. And so, a renunciation. I have to admit to that a little bit too, not because I didn't love him or want him away, but I was afraid that he wasn't real.
Right. And I think with me, and I totally get that, because that was the whole program in religion, in Christian religion, that programming started, with, I guess, Constantine, or way back when they started rewriting all the books and things, the books of the Bibles, because Yeshua teaches us that we are the way, and also things that he had done when he walked the planet, we can do, and more. Yeah. So that was the whole plan, was to be able to, in order to think that in order to communicate with God, we were programmed that we have to go to someone else and tell them, say, oh yeah, let me give you answers, that kind of thing. And so our goal, I know use yours too, is to help people remember that this is where we can get
Yeah.
all our answers, and this is where we can connect and be with, true source.
And it's amazing when you start dropping into that space and you begin to realize that, oh my gosh, it's all within. And I want to share, can I share an experience I had not too long ago?
Of course.
I'm anybody who's ever worked with me knows that I love my prayer. And when I do my prayer, I'm calling everybody. Now that I realize that this is real, I'm like, I am calling everybody, angels, archangels, ascended masters, lords of the seven rays, spiritual hierarchy, all the illumined councils, And I had this experience where, when I call them, I just see them gathering like in just layers.
Yes.
And I was asking, what is oneness? Everybody's talking about oneness and oneness this and oneness that. And I remember thinking, oh, oneness, but not with that guy. Because that guy's bad. I don't want to be one with him. And that guy, that hurts children, I don't want to be one with that. And I felt really conflicted because I knew that wasn't, right for me. I knew that wasn't resonating totally, but I still didn't want to be one with that person. And so I was calling and I said, please show me what oneness is. And I sat there in this, and there was this quiet, almost like I could feel them, almost like breathing, if you would. And I just went, show me what oneness is. And they all turned and they had my face. All of these angels and masters and beings just of pure light all had my face. And I just went, oh. And when I did that, whoosh, they all came inside. And they're like, we've always been here. This is where it is. We're not outside of you. Right. You're picturing it outside. You're bringing it and almost like a projector onto a screen. And that's okay to see it that way. That's okay. But the knowing that must come to people now is that we're not out there. That's a reflection. That's a hologram that we're creating. Right. Where it is in here. And I just went, oh,
that's beautiful.
My gosh. And who is at the center of the whole thing? Our buddy Yeshua. And it was just like, it's like, do you get it now? And I'm like, I do. But it was really interesting. I've gone through a couple dark night of the soul things, and you helped me in one of them after that experience, where it's like this knowing comes in, but there's still that shadow stuff in there that's like going, right. Or, there's all that doubt and that fear and that shame and that guilt, still needs to be worked through. Yeah. Even when you do embody all of that, because we're human. Right. We're still human.
Right. And we're here to heal all that, clear all that, definitely integrate it.
Yeah. And to help each other. Sometimes we need help. I actually had a friend of mine, I was telling her about you, as a matter of fact. And she said, well, you know all that stuff, Michelle. Why can't you just do it? And I went, no, we need each other. Right. We need each other.
Perfect.
Too often healers become islands because they do know it all. Yeah. We do know it all. But we also need each other. And this is that creating that community and that balance and reconnecting. We've become so separated, and it's the coming back together. Just like all them came into me. It's like we're all one. So are you. So am I. We're all one. Yeah. And we need to help and support each other along the way.
That's beautiful. Definitely. We do. I mean, we're all an extension of each other, I guess you could say. We are an extension of each other. So when we...
Whoa. Oh my gosh, can I tell you what I just saw? I'm so sorry.
Yes, no. Yes,
oh
please.
My gosh. I was just shown God, and we're fractals of that. But that God runs through us, and that we're each fractals of each other in the same way that we're fractals of God, but we're all one. Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Very cool. That's beautiful.
Okay, my brain is a little mushy right now.
I would imagine. Oh, that's why fractal art is just so.
Just
Yeah,
wow.
I could see that as you were explaining it, or as you were presenting it. Definitely.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes total sense.
Have you seen the Mandelbrot fractal videos, where when you zoom in to a certain, I'm not very good at explaining it, zoom into a certain pattern and it blows up, it's the same pattern, it goes on and on and on for eternity type of thing. The first time I saw one of those, I just started bawling. This flood of emotion, of recognition came up in me. I felt like I was looking at God. I was. And this is what, just like what you're talking about. It was
Yes.
that it just kept going on and then explode into, you have to see it. Who's ever watching, you have to see the Mandelbrot, I forget the name of it, but
Oh my God. And you
yeah.
know what's so weird is you're saying that. I
Uh-huh.
used to, when I would meditate, I would, in my third eye, I would see like a picture and then deeper and deeper and deeper
Yes.
and deeper. And I would just be like, sometimes get nauseous or going through wormholes where all these sacred geometrical forms kept coming. And I could never figure out what it was.
You were looking at the
infinite.
the infinity, and that was Mandelbrot fractal zoom. Yeah, Mandelbrot zoom.
How do you spell Mandel?
Madelbrot. The one that I at Sapphires, there's different. The one I looked at was called Sapphires. There's different shapes and things like that. Here's a Trip to Infinity 2. It's just, it will blow your mind as you're watching these. I mean, I just
wow,
cried, sobbed as I'm watching it.
And you know what I'm getting right now too is awakening those parts of our brain.
Yes.
That are then be able to step into more of the understanding and connection to that infinite space. Oh my gosh. And I just, you know what, all these there's so many people that are on Facebook, you know, and I don't spend that much time there anymore, but all these young star seeds, and I love that term because it's so true, that are making this amazing graphic art. It is so ethereal and so beautiful and so full of energy. And it's the same thing because it's just layers and layers and layers, but it's in form, but it has that same effect, if you will. Oh my gosh.
I know, there's just so many young people that are coming onto the planet that are here from the star nations, the star systems to help bring us up.
So